Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Olight M2R Warrior in ocean camouflage. So before we do that, let's have a quick look over the packaging. So on the front of the box, we've got the Olight branding with the name of the torch, the make of the torch, the model of the torch, which is the M2R Warrior, and this is in the limited edition ocean blue camouflage. It states on the front a throw of 300 meters and a maximum of 1800 lumens. On the sides, again, we have the Olight branding with the model of the torch, and on the back we have some information including the features and technical specifications. If you take a moment to pause, you can see what they are. So on the top we have the serial number, and on the bottom is printed the quality 5-year warranty promise. So quickly looking at some of the key features. It has a maximum of 1800 lumens, it has a max runtime of 50 days or 1200 hours, has a max throw of 300 meters, it has an IPX rating of IPX8, has a drop rating of 1.5 meters, and this is a limited edition with roughly about 6,000 run. So on opening the box, you are greeted with a thank you for being part of the Olight family. Your support is why we do this. Enjoy, the Olight team. And as usual, before we get to the actual contents, we're greeted with a yellow plastic cover, which gives you brief operating instructions of how to remove the battery insulating film and connecting the charger. Congrats on your new Olight M2R Warrior. Before first use, unscrew the tail cap and remove the yellow insulating film. Please charge it fully before you turn it on. Charge directly via the provided MCC magnetic charging cable. Okay, let's see what we have inside. So as we can see, we have the holster, which obviously contains the torch, and a blue camouflage decal box. And as we can see, it has the lanyard, charger, and instructions. In the box, we get the torch. We get the battery, which is the proprietary rechargeable lithium-ion 21700 3.6 volt 500 mAh with a high discharge rate of 18 watt hours, and its model number is ORB-217C50. There's also the 2 amp MCC magnetic charging cable, comes with a holster. It has the 2-way deep carry pocket clip, which can be attached to both the head and the base, instruction leaflet, and a lanyard. So the torch of the main body is made up of hard anodized AL6061-T6 aluminium alloy. The grip is nicely knurled, which again is nice and grippy. The base is removable for battery access and is magnetic, but I wouldn't rely on it to horizontal hold, although it will hold upside down. It's base standing. It houses a tail switch, and there are 3 raised points to cover the tail switch when standing. And the lens appears to be glass. So looking at the quality, it feels solid and well made. I can't see any defects or issues in the machining or the anodizing. It doesn't feel like anything will break, even if it's treated a bit rough. It feels good in hand, and with the knurling grip, doesn't feel like it will slip out easily, either when wearing gloves or having wet hands. The screw base screws on and off easily and very smoothly. The threads and O-rings are well lubed, which also helps with waterproofing. It is noticeable in the pocket, and if you get it wrong, you can feel the crenulated bezel, but not so notable in a jacket or coat pocket. But this is still probably more comfortable utilising the supplied holster. So this is the ocean blue camouflage version, with a light blue, deep blue and silver speckled camouflage design. The bezel, button and clips are all blue, with the silver click switch button on the base, although the clip doesn't quite match the bezel and the buttons around. From what I can see, this is also available, or was available, in black, blue, orange, OD green, purple, patriotic, which is the American flag, camouflage, gunmetal grey, desert tan and white. Okay, so looking at its dimensions, it is 13.6 centimeters in length, which is around 5.37 inches. Its head diameter is 2.5 centimeters, which is around 1.05 inches. Its body diameter is 2.9 centimeters, which is around 1.15 inches. And its tail diameter is 2.5 centimeters, which again is around 1.05 inches. So the total torch weight, inclusive of the battery, is 179 grams, which is about 6.3 ounces. So before first use, you need to unscrew the torch base and remove the insulating film protecting the battery. You will then find the proprietary rechargeable lithium-ion 21700 3.6 volt 5000 mAh battery. It's an 18 watt hour battery with a high discharge current rate of around 10 amps. It has built-in circuit protection from overcharging and discharging. There is both a positive and negative connection at the positive end, and it is obviously advised to fully charge the battery before first use. So to charge the battery, you connect the magnetic charging cable to the end of the torch. It's a 0.5 meter MCC3 USB-A magnetic charging cable, which will deliver DC 5 volts at 2 amps. It will charge at 1, 1.5 and 2 amps with a CC and CV charging pattern. On the circular magnetic charging end, there is a red-green LED indicator. When it's red, it's indicating charging, and when it's green, it will indicate it's fully charged or over 95%, or it's just disconnected with the torch. A full charge from flat will take about 5 hours at maximum voltage and amps. So the plus end of the battery needs to face the LED end. For the most efficient charging, it is advised to use a greater than 10 watt 5 volt 2 amp power source. It's also advised to only use the MCC3 charger, and it's not compatible with an MCC charger. The flashlight has a standby current of below 40 microamps, so if being stored for a long period of time, it's advisable to loosen the tail cap. Also, do not short circuit the tail cap, as this will lead to a 6 milliamp drain. So, the light itself is powered by one Cree XHP35HI LED and is on the neutral white range. So the reflector is a TIR with a smooth reflector, and this gives a uniform beam. So TIR stands for total internal reflection. The bezel is a blue crenulated strike bezel with 12 fairly sharp points about 2mm in height. So looking at the safety aspects, it's rated IPX8, which will give a 1.5 to 2 metre submersion in water for about half an hour. It has a drop rating of 1.5 metres. There is no heat sink, there's no sensors, but it does have a lock on the torch. There's a two-way deep carry clip that can fit either end of the torch. A lanyard is included. The torch is tail standing, but it can be a bit unstable due to the 3 raised points on the bottom. So this torch uses 2 switches, a rubber side button with a small LED indicator and a metal tail switch, which can be used interchangeably with each other, i.e. you can turn on with the tail and turn off with the side button, but they do both have different functions. So in all, there are 7 modes on the LED, which I'll come to in a bit. So looking at the user interface and how to use the switches. So when using the side switch from off, a single press will bring up the last use mode, which is the memory function. A double press will bring up the turbo mode. A triple press will bring up the strobe mode. If you press and hold for 1 second, it brings up moonlight mode. If you press and hold for 2 seconds, it will lock the torch out. So when the side switch is on, a single press will turn it off, a double press will go into turbo, a triple press will go into strobe, and if you press and hold, it will cycle through the low, medium 2, medium 1 and high modes. So there's 2 configurations for the tail switch. In tail switch configuration 1, which is normal EDC and the factory default, this has 4 modes. A short half press brings medium 2 on. A long half press brings medium 2 on temporary until you let go of the button. A short full press brings the turbo on. A long full press brings the turbo on temporary until you let go. So the tail switch configuration 2, which is tactical mode, only has 2 modes, and neither of these will stay on full time. So with the half press you get the turbo mode until you let go, and with the full press you get the strobe mode until you let go. You can change these configurations by pressing and holding the tail switch, and then also pressing the side switch at the same time. So there are 6 power levels. You have moonlight, you have low, you've got medium 2, medium 1, high and turbo. So moonlight mode is 1 lumen and will run for about 50 days, which is about 1200 hours, and has a rough throw of about 5 meters. Low mode is about 15 lumens and will run for roughly 5.5 days, which is 130 hours, and has a rough throw of about 27 meters. Medium 2 mode is 60 lumens and will run for about 40 hours, or roughly 2,400 minutes, and has a rough throw of about 55 meters. Medium 1 mode is around 250 lumens, with a 10-hour runtime, which is about 600 minutes, and a rough throw of 110 meters. So in high mode, it starts off at 700 lumens, and this will last for roughly 160 minutes, which is about 2.5 hours, and will give a throw of around 180 meters. This will then drop down to 250 lumens, which is roughly 33%, and then will last for another 40 minutes, which is just over half an hour. So a total runtime in high would be about 200 minutes, which is just over 3.25 hours. In turbo mode, it starts off at 1,800 lumens and will run for about 4.5 minutes. This will give a rough throw of about 300 meters. So after the 4.5 minutes, it will then drop down to 750 lumens, which is about 41%, and then this will last for about 145 minutes, which is just under 2.5 hours. After this, it will then further drop down to 250 lumens, which is about 14%, and this will then go for another 45 minutes, which is roughly 3/4 of an hour. So this will give a total runtime of 195 minutes, or 3.2 hours. The torch has a memory mode, and this will memorize moonlight, low, medium 2, medium 1. It will also memorize high, but this will only last for about 10 minutes before it reverts to a medium setting after you've last used it. It does not memorize turbo or strobe. So to lock this torch, while the torch is off, press and hold the side button for about 2 seconds. Moonlight mode will come on and then go off, then release the button and the torch will be locked. You will then not be able to activate either of the switches, so when you do press either of the switches, the LED on the side button will light red. To unlock, press and hold the side button for about 1 second until moonlight mode comes on, and then release the button. You can also lock out only the tail switch by slightly loosening the tail of the torch, but the side button will still work, even when the tail cap is slightly loose. So there's no timer mode on this torch. The battery level indicator will turn solid green when it's above 75% charge. It will then turn solid orange when it's between 30 and 74% charge. It turns solid red between 10 and 30% charge. It will flash red when it's less than 10% charge. So to charge the torch, you plug the USB-A end into a power source and then connect the magnetic end of the charger to the base of the torch, and the light should turn red. The battery should charge up to 4.2 volts for a full charge, and this should take around roughly 5 hours. And this will be with a 10 watt 5 volt 2 amp charger. But please remember, this may take a little longer with a less powerful charger. And the torch does work while charging. So looking at the beam, it has quite a nice throw. It produces a nice defined hotspot with a uniform light coverage and a relatively sharp transition into the spill. I would say it has an average to narrow spot of about 70 to 80 centimeters at around 3 meters. I would also say there is a slight yellow spot in the middle of the spot at close distance. In my opinion, the transition from spot to wide isn't too bad, and the wide beam offers good light to walk by and see what is around you in the dark. Okay, so that tree's about 10 metres. Tree's about 15 metres. That tree's about 20 metres. The house is about 120 metres. So, my final thoughts. I like the design and the colour options, and the fact that it's a ready-to-use package. I like the user interface and the 2 switches. It's waterproof. It has a waterproof rating of IPX8. It has a 2-way clip and separate lanyard. It has a high light output and long run times. And the size isn't too bad. It's rechargeable without the need to remove the battery or to open any ports. So what I dislike about the torch. The magnetic base, although strong and will stand on a metal surface or even hang from a metal surface, it won't hang horizontally, so you can't put it on a side. The turbo mode gets fairly hot, but to be fair, that's expected with most torches. There's no sensor, which could potentially cause some issues or problems if the torch gets turned on in high or turbo mode in a pocket or in an enclosed environment such as a bag. And there could be the potential of some parasitic drain, but this could be alleviated by unscrewing the tail cap. So all in all, I really like this torch, and it's something I would definitely consider carrying. Not maybe as an EDC, but with a predefined purpose, such as a camping trip or a hike. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be much appreciated, as this will obviously help me in expanding the channel quite significantly. This may also encourage me to upload more often and hopefully create better content. Thank you.